Don't touch my.
Welcome to part B of this week's episode of Whoscussion. We're going to be talking about the Twilight Kingdom, but as an added bonus, we're going to tail this off with talking about Bill, the new Doctor Who companion. That'll be with Peter Capaldi. So, the Twilight Kingdom.
Also known as, why is it called that?
Yes. Why is it called that?
We don't know. The only thing we can possibly think is that it's because it's in a cave, I guess. Where, I suppose, like, you could think, like, the Twilight... I don't know, it really doesn't make sense, honestly.
Does the cave sparkle, maybe?
Well, it is like bioluminescent inside. So you could like sort of like the Twilight Zone sort of deal. Twilight.
Well, no kidding. The cave actually sparkles.
Yeah, it totally does. So,
is that the stuff they eat?
Yeah, they eat like
they do eat the sparkly stuff, right?
Well, they basically seem to eat like a collection of fungus growing in it, which is weird. Like it's because the whole cave system is like this organism. So it's an interesting concept that it not only is it's nourishing its own food source, so that it can nourish itself once it gets there. It's sort of, but it was like not sort of in a cattle sort of sense, because normally with cattle we like just grow some food, and we grow food to feed the animal that we're gonna eat. But this, like, it was using its own sustenance, that it like its own parts of itself to feed its food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. That's what an ecosystem is. It's like its own full ecosystem rather than. It's an interesting concept. A being that's inside and out. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically this story begins with a person who's trying to stop a rebellion getting killed by the leader of the rebellion. You don't know how he got killed, because it's not a weapon. You don't hear any firing of lasers apart from him trying to kill the guy that's killing him. He just screams, because Big Finish and the screaming. Big Finish is definitely be careful if you're wearing headphones. The Be Careful headphone series. And then it jumps to the Doctor's crew, and the Croaker they've just left Light City. Whoa, man, Light City was just so weird. I actually want to go back and listen to that story again. It was just so bizarre. I love the Natural History Fair. But anyway, they left Light City. The Croaker's given them camping gear.
Yeah.
I love that. We've got camping gear. How do you think we're rebels? I don't know exactly. And the Doctor bumps into the people who were trying to stop the rebellion. There's only two of them, which is a bit strange. Like, wouldn't you want like a whole army to stop a rebellion?
Well, it sounds like there was a small outfit that came and then like split up into separate groups to try and find them. But then like a lot of them got lost and killed and basically wrecked. But I guess I guess a lot of them, they either got killed or they got
foodified,
or just turned over to the cause using the psychic fungus.
Oh yeah, the psychic fungus. So everybody who's not the TARDIS crew seems to think they're on a planet that they're not actually on.
Yeah. That's interesting too. Is that like there's on this planet that they're on, they all like have sort of segments of other planets going on it. like I was thinking that in the beginning that it was just these barriers that they're going through, instead of just being on one planet, they are on a bunch of planets, but they're moving through their own personal barriers to these other planets that's manipulated by the Croco. But it turns out that's not the case.
Yeah, no, it is one planet.
Yeah, that it is actually one planet, and these barriers are separating these sort of petri dishes.
Yeah, that's how the Doctor describes it, is that every country or city has been turned into a petri dish on this planet. So the Doctor has his fair suspicions on who the Croaker is working for. The Croaker is meant to work for the company, the ones that burned Keres' home country into basically nothingness. Who's a solar engineer? Wink, wink, hint, hint. Wink, 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 hint, 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 hint. And so anyway, the Doctor and the anti-rebellion people end up getting caught, and they find out that the rebels are able to have a huge amount of persuasion on the Doctor and Doctor's friends and the other people. And one of the anti-rebel people ends up literally shooting his commanding officer's head open.
Yep.
And the Doctor's all like,
he seems to have no recollection of her at all.
Exactly. And the Doctor's like, what the hell's going on? And he finds out with this old scientist man who seems to befriend the Doctor randomly. And I imagine him, for some reason, looking like the old guy that kills the Doctor's daughter.
Okay.
You know, the one from, Jenny.
Yeah. I was thinking him more like, looking more like the Nazi scientist dude from Captain America.
Oh my god. You mean the Dream Lord?
Yeah, the Dream Lord. There you go. I imagine him looking exactly like the Dream Lord.
Wow, there we go. There we go. The Dream Lord. Which is interesting because the Dream Lord's a manifestation of psychic energy. But however, the Doctor threw the Dream Lord. What was his name? Bin?
I don't actually remember.
Jolton? Jojen?
It was something weird.
Yeah.
I think it was like Jolton or something, because it did remind me of like the word for...
Janto.
Janto.
Bizarre Janto is his name.
Because it reminded me very much of the word for being from Jupiter, Jovian.
Oh, yes. So Janto, he is like, hey, look, I think everybody's being brainwashed. And the Doctor and him end up discovering that the mushrooms everyone is eating is creating a huge psychic link with basically the god mushrooms, for lack of a better term.
The god mushrooms.
And they are not really a hive mind, but they're like a linked consciousness. So there's like 4 of them, from what I can tell from the sound.
I think it's 2. I think it's just 2.
Oh, it is just 2? And
yeah, because the Doctor does make a reference to their minds being split in half.
Oh, right. Yeah. And essentially these beings were dormant until Koth, who started this rebellion force, went there, and his
grief.
Yeah, his grief
and
anger managed to basically bring these things to life. And you find out that Koth is the Koth that everybody talks to in the rebel camp is actually a clone Koth made with his mind out of mushrooms.
Well, out of soil, but...
Oh, yeah, out of soil.
Like a dirt replicant.
Yeah, he's a dirt replicant. It must sound lovely, I guess. And he's been the one that's been leading the rebels. And then the rebels actually find out that they're actually not fighting anybody.
They actually haven't been fighting anyone the whole time.
Yeah, they've just been turned into food. And when you get promoted, which they call going to another camp, I believe is the promotion called.
So good.
And they actually get eaten, which is funny because I'm pretty certain that's the same thing parents say when dogs die. So it goes to another place, and they all get eaten. And so basically these beings, these mushroom entities, are like, hey, look, Doc, if you be our new host, we'll give you something in return. He's like, what could you possibly have to offer me? And they're like,
The
how about
TARDIS.
the TARDIS? And the doctor's like, oh no shit. So
Oh no, you did.
he decides to give in. Janto, who is the man and looks like the Dream Lord, confirmed Whoscussion canon. He whips off and he's like, hey, look, Kira's and Charlie, we need to gun it. And Charlie's like, you know what? You telling me to gun it makes me think the Doctor's doing that retarded thing he always does where he tries to save everybody by killing himself. So let's go save him. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. So,
Okay.
so they whip off to the Doctor. They're like, hey, look, you need to stop being a knob. And then Janto's like, hey, I kind of don't have anything to go home to. So can you just let me die? And the Doctor's like, I won't do that. And Janto's like, bro, you think you're being super cool, but that's actually a real dick move because I want to die?
Yeah.
Oh, well, man, I'm real sorry. I didn't understand. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, real sauce about that.
And he ends up killing the mushroom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Using his power of love.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, that's why it's called the Twilight Kingdom, huh?
Oh.
And, so Janto ends up being the hero, even though he ends up dying in the process. But he wanted to, and he does a pretty good thing. He saves everybody. And that is that for the segment.
I would like to talk about the fact that...
Oh, no. Sorry, I mean, that segment of the story.
Yeah, that is potentially the end of the story, yes. I would like to talk about, particularly if he does, in fact, look like the Dream Lord, then I find it interesting that he's one of the only people who have, like, stepped in when the Doctor was going to sacrifice himself and be like, no, I'm going to sacrifice myself, don't even go there. Like, and then, and being a scientist himself and basically coming to the same terms as the Doctor, especially when the Doctor feels like he's got nothing left to live for, like the 11th Doctor, per se. Yeah. So when the Dream Lord comes into play, looking like one of the people that basically encapsulates that whole idea of the Dream Lord, looking like him would make sense. So I guess that's my reasoning behind it. Also, it's just because the moment I heard him speak, I'm like, yep, that's him.
Oh, wow.
What?
Here, I'm going to show you the Google search for Alan Rothwell, the guy who actually played that character. Wow. I've seen him in a number of British productions. This gentleman has been in quite a lot of things.
Oh. Yeah, actually.
Well.
Okay, no, he looks like that.
Well, holy crap. But yeah, the Doctor ends up walking into the, what do they call that? There's a term for it. The thing that's between the zones. What do they call it? The terminal. The something.
Okay.
What do they bloody call it? You know when they're walking between the zones, it's actually got a name.
I thought I just called it a barrier. But okay.
It's got an actual bloody name. It's a shapeshifter. I never really caught on to that.
You got it? Maybe.
Interzone. It's called the Interzone.
The Interzone.
So anyway, they're walking through the Interzone, and the Croaker turns up to crap on the Doctor. And the Doctor's like, look, I'm not really in the mood to take any of your crap. And he's like, oh, hey, real sorry about you losing the TARDIS again. and he's like, Doctor, what do you hope to find out of all this? Rassilon. I love how that's the last thing he says. Rassilon. And so the Doctor's pretty much caught on that the solar engineer behind Kira's people losing their crap, and the person who's behind the company is the Lord and Master Rassilon, which means that Rassilon not only was mucking around with our universe, he was also mucking around with the Divergent universe, which is a pretty dick move since he's the reason they're a Divergent universe in the first place. He's like,
yes, he is.
So this story, I think, to be honest, and the run is probably, in my opinion, the weakest.
Oh yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts? What did you sort of, for lack of a better term, I guess, feel about this one?
Well, I actually kind of like this one.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's bad in any way. I don't know. It just felt, because I mean, like, if you look at like the ones before it.
Yeah, compared to everything else that's ever happened in the Big Finish universe, yeah, I suppose you could put it listed in the ones that weren't.
It's the Divergent universe, because this is the first time they run into humanoids.
Yeah, this is true. So.
And like, it's just, I don't know, it's not as weird as the rest of the Divergent universe. It felt sort of like something that maybe Charlie and the Doctor would have done before they came to the Divergent universe.
Yeah.
Like something that might have happened during the incident with the fella who like lived forever.
Yeah, it is familiar of that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that now.
I could imagine him being Major Koth's character. Instead of Major Koth, it could have been what the heck was that guy's name? Grail.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just felt it didn't feel divergenty enough. I was like, oh, it kind of feels like our universe. I don't know. It just, I think it was playing it a bit too safe.
Yeah, I guess that is very very fair.
But all the acting's top notch, so as seems to be the case with Big Finish. Yep. So who cares? At least there weren't any fake accents this time.
Yeah. Oh man.
Big Finish and fake accents is like, that's just one of my favorite combinations. I'm Russian, and now I'm not Russian, I guess.
No, I'm not Russian. No, I am Russian.
No, I am Russian. Oh,
I was never Russian the whole time.
And I'm Orson Welles. I don't know who William Shakespeare is. And the Doctor, I think it's pretty cool that the Doctor took like only 2 actual Divergent universe stories to figure out it was Rassilon behind everything.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I'm so glad it wasn't like hanging around our heads for ages, because me and you, as the audience members, we already knew it was bloody Rassilon as soon as Kira's was like, some solar engineers burned out crap. Yep. But yeah, that Rassilon. Rassilon. And man, I just love how like the first 7 Doctors have like heaps of respect for Rassilon, and then 8's just like, oh, I hate you, man. And then every Doctor after that hates Rassilon.
Yeah.
It's just superb. I wish there was a time where we got to see Christopher Eccleston being mad at Rassilon. Oh wait, that could have been the 50th. But but I digress. So on to our juicy finisher story. Bill, the new Doctor Who companion.
Bill. Despite the name, there's a female.
Yes. Yeah, and that kind of gives me a little bit of an Ace feel.
Kind of.
Yeah, it gives me an Ace feel. I like that. I don't care. I mean, if you're going to go for an Ace feel, go for gold. I love Ace. Maybe Ace might even come. Ace is her mum!
Oh, you.
Just make her a half-blood. All good. Done. But yeah, I might be grasping at straws here, but I feel like she's from the 80s. And I know everybody's doing that, but I feel like a hipster in this situation because I feel like I said it first.
I don't know. I guess that makes sense. Kind of. It does kind of look like it. Yeah,
because her clothes don't seem to be like, like Hot Topic-y or like anything like that, where like it's retro clothes that you've bought these days. They look like they're actual like retro clothes that were brand new in the 80s. That's how I feel like, and her whole like design, I feel, is like the 80s. And just the way she looks when the Doctor's like says "Back to the Future," which gave me an 80s vibe as well. And then he says to 2017, and she looks like blown away. She's like, "Whoa, what? That far in the future?
2017? Wow!
Do they have flying cars? Oh, they don't. Wow,
No, they don't. Boring.
This is sucky. What are your thoughts? Do you think I'm grabbing at straws here? I'm looking too deep into it, or?
No, makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I really hope that's the case, because we've had so many companions just be from like all modern Who companions are like that.
Yeah,
they've all been. They've all been.
We were almost going to be lucky enough to have Madame de Pompadour be a companion, which would have been actually fantastic.
That's amazing. Should be the new Victoria, except 100 years prior.
Although there was that one episode where we had Queen, the Egyptian Queen, what's her face?
Nefertiti.
Yeah, we had Egyptian Queen Nefertiti, and
I just really wish that she was written a lot better, because Nefertiti wasn't a slut.
Yeah.
And they portrayed her that way in Doctor Who, and I was just like, that doesn't make any sense because of Nefertiti, actual human history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, apart from that, it's been alright. I just think we need to stay away from the not contemporary Earth. I'm still a bit sad that they didn't go with the woman that they were looking into becoming the companion, the Muslim companion. I think that would have been a good thing for the Muslim community to have to be represented in that way. But I mean, with that aside, I think this actress seems to be a lot of fun. She's definitely not Clara. I hope this scene wasn't just made for us. It's not actually canon. It's just a thing they made to show off the new companion. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty glad that we're getting a non-white companion as well.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Yeah, honestly. It's kind of a long time coming.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to not be from contemporary Earth.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, because I'm sick of it. And if you look at classic Who, the two companions we had in the last two Patrick Troughton stories have both not been from contemporary Earth.
Yeah, both of them have not been from contemporary Earth, and they made the joke about how he always comes to contemporary Earth.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Doctor, it's always England in the 60s.
Why is it always England in the 60s, Doctor? I don't know, Jamie. It's probably the budget.
Probably the budget, Jamie. Why sounded like me now, Doctor?
But Doctor, we've got a massive budget.
They so do too. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to this. So just before we head off, Harriet, Scully, and I have been talking about what happens when Class comes out, and we've decided it will be classic Who, Class, audio adventure.
Yes.
That would be the format.
Possibly classic. Audio
Class. I actually like that better. I'm so glad you suggested that. So that will be the confirmed format. Classic audio Class.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks everybody for listening in this week. Thank you again to the wonderful Harriet Scully. Thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure. All righty, well, catch everybody later.
Peace.